Howdy, y'all. Today I'm looking at Clorox, ticker CLX. Let's get to it. Clorox is having a good day. It's up a little bit over $1. That's fantastic. And I'm going to be backing out this chart because I really want y'all to see where Clorox is at. And it's at a really good spot. If you are currently holding it and have a position, this is where I'd be selling it. If y'all have been watching the vlogs, you would have seen that I sold on this last peak because I saw it was getting near this resistance level, and I don't believe it is a defined resistance level. We can see these wicks here, and so I don't believe it's defined. I think it's just a general area. So I don't mind getting out early. I have not bought any Clorox here, but it might be testing and dropping back down. I'm hoping that's the case from an investor standpoint because I want to buy more Clorox. I really enjoy the stock, but I also want to point out something else. I'm going to back out to the 5-year chart. 5-year chart. Some folks may be thinking that they want to wait till it gets way up here again to the 240 mark, and at least in the 200s, way up here, getting in the mid-low 200 range. And I don't believe that's going to happen because this was 2020. A lot of extra cleaning products were being bought. Products were going up in price with all the inflation, and that way Clorox can make a fortune. All their revenue is going up. They're selling all their products. They were sold out. And that's great for their revenue, great for the books, and great for the stock. But once that started petering off some, well, so did the stock, and we can see what's happened here. Now it's this huge consolidation area on how earnings are from quarter to quarter. And we can see when the reports are coming out, you can see all these big moves up and down. And when you get those downward moves, that for me is a fantastic area to buy. Or when it's going up, a fantastic area to sell. I'm going to go ahead and show a little bit more about why I think this is going to be a little bit of a high spot. So I'm looking at the market digest of Clorox, and they are saying to look for a more favorable entry point, which I completely agree. And they're actually saying hold. If it were me, I'd be saying sell because I'd be selling at this mark. If I still had it, I sold a little bit beforehand just to be on the safe side. But they're highlighting that Clorox shares have underperformed the S&P 500 over the past quarter, rising 2% compared to a gain of 11% for the index. And they're going into a lot more depth, and they're continuing going about earnings, growth analysis. And I believe that Clorox has solid management. They're doing great on their books. Everything looks great. And so right about here, Clorox shares are trading at 23 times their fiscal year 26 earnings per share estimate. So below the midpoint of the 5-year range of 18 to 41 and below the peer range of 24. Now, that I believe is really good. Financial strength and dividend. The financial strength rating for Clorox is a medium to low, second lowest rank on the 5-point scale. The company receives below average scores on the criteria of fixed cost coverage, profitability, and debt levels. Clorox debt is investment grade and rated BBB plus with a stable outlook by SP 500. My main point for a really big brand name such as Clorox is stable outlook by S&P. That for me is a telltale sign that it's still great. It's stable. There can be debts going up. What if they have to do something for a manufacturing plant? What if they have this or that cost? If it's not an unstable or volatile inner management environment, then I believe the stable outlook by the S&P is something that stands out to me. I read these, I look at the books, and I look for these telltale things. It doesn't necessarily mean that all this other knowledge is useless. I consider that as well. But if you look at a lot of companies, they have these exact same things. They may not have as much, but they have the same thing. So going through all this, I don't agree with the hold rating. I agree with the sell, and definitely looking for a much more favorable entry point. I want it to really drop. Now, the range I would be looking at to start buying, I would say the highest that I would consider buying would be 140. It is currently at 168.07. I would consider buying at 140. I would much rather a severe drop happen to 130 and even better 120. But I would take a 130, solid 130 even, and I'm buying a bunch of Clorox. 140 is definite consideration. Anything above that, I'm not too sure. I know there is this consolidation range that is very prominent. I'll add a drawing so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Look inside that parallel, not just in this area, but it goes through here. It's hovering on this support line. It busts through the resistance, and the resistance is now support. It falls through the support. It's now in between support and resistance. And it just bounces in this range a lot. That is why I would consider the 140 mark. Yes, it could continue to drop as it's proven multiple times on all these different occasions. You can see it right here. But I will continue to buy if it does so and bring the cost basis down. Therefore, it could get back up to 140 and I could sell at 140 and make a profit if I sell all those shares at once. Now, if it gets to 150, I could do first in, first out, or FIFO, and that's FIFO, first in, first out, and sell all the 140s and hold 130. So if it drops back down to 140, I can still sell there at a $10 profit. But if it continues to go up, then it's even a bigger profit margin for those shares. But that's the strategy I'm looking at. That's what I'm considering. I'm definitely watching Clorox because I think it's great stock. They do have a small dividend in comparison to some of the other stocks in its industry, but it's such a good name that doesn't bother me as much because I do have faith in the stock itself. But I'm still glad it pays dividends. So that way, while I'm waiting for it to do its thing, waiting for it to make its move upwards, even if it's hovering downwards somewhere, still making a dividend. And that makes me happy. So that's my strategy for Clorox. That's just a little bit of stuff I've looked into for Clorox and just a taste for y'all to see some of the stuff that I look at for the analysis of the stock. So, anywho's, there will be more vlogs on this once Clorox drops down and shares are bought. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in those vlogs.